let's move on to the next game here. Michigan State faces off against Ole Miss. The number 2 Michigan State Spartans against the number 6 Ole Miss Rebels. I have 3 players who are must show up in this game. I don't necessarily think these 3 players are going to be the determining factors if they win or not, but I think they are the must show up players in this game. I did not list a Jaden Akins. I did not list a Jace Richardson because I figured those were easy ones, right? Yes, you need Jace Richardson to show up and win a basketball game. Yeah, congratulations. Great analysis, right? What I'm going to give you here are players who are maybe not star players, but do contribute. They are starters. Well, 2 of them are starters. And then I'm going to give you a wild card. I don't think this player must have the game of his life, but I do think there is something about this third player who is a wild card to me that has to do something in this game. He can't be what he's been in the Big Ten tournament, in the NCAA tournament. He has to show up, he has to play, and he has to be involved in this game if Michigan State is going to run deep enough to be able to defeat Ole Miss. They might be able to win without him playing, but still, I think it's going to be better for them if they do. I'll explain when we get to number 3. Number 1 for me is Jackson Kohler. Jackson Kohler needs to stay out of foul trouble in this game because overall, you need a guy like Jackson Kohler in this one. Tom Izzo said it himself. He said, I played Chris Beard before. I know his team is ready to come at you tooth and nail. This is going to be a physical basketball game. Chris Beard is not going to settle for anything less. Now, Chris Beard and their guys, not the best offensive rebounding team in the world, so you need to make sure your guys who can be out there getting rebounds are out there doing so, and Jackson Kohler needs to stay out of foul trouble in order to make that happen. He could match his career high of 7 offensive rebounds in this game. He's got it a couple times, once against Wisconsin, maybe against Nebraska was the other one. I know one was against Wisconsin. With Ole Miss, their defensive rebounding percentage is 69.3%, good for 38th percentile. 38th percentile. So it's not bad, but it is an area where Jackson Kohler could take advantage of things. You see, if you look at their defensive rebounds per game, it is in a similar scenario here where Ole Miss is only grabbing 43rd percentile, and that's good for 24 offensive rebounds per game. You need to make sure that Ole Miss is not getting the rebounds in this one. You cannot give them that advantage. This is a team that does not normally get the advantage of the rebounds, and so as long as you can keep them out of that, Michigan State should be able to win this one. Jackson Kohler is going to be a huge piece to make that happen. My next player is Jeremy Fears Jr. Ole Miss in quad 1 games is in the 8th percentile or lower in allowing free throw attempts per game, right? The free throw attempt rate is 42.5%, which is in the 4th percentile. And then the assist percentage of the opposing team, the assist percentage allowed is 60.5%. Well, what does Jeremy Fears Jr. do? Well, he does a good job of getting to the free throw line and setting his team up with assists. Fears leads the team in free throw attempts per game, but he is only shooting 74.3% on the season. That is 4th worst on this Michigan Spartans team. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're Jeremy Fears Jr. and you are getting to the free throw line, you need to actually knock down these shots. And for Michigan State, you're going to get Jeremy Fears Jr. to the free throw line in this one. This is what Ole Miss does a lot of times. They do foul down low and they do get in foul trouble at times. However, it does you no good to get the other team in foul. I mean, it does you good to get them in foul trouble, but it does you no good to get to the free throw line if you cannot hit a high enough percentage of your free throws. This is an area of Jeremy Fears Jr. game that needs to improve. He needs to be more consistent, get better at it. I believe he can in this game. I believe that Tom Izzo has pointed this out to him, and I think he will deliver for the Spartans. He also leads this team in assists per game at 5.4 assists per game, but he does have a drop off against quad 1 teams. He is below 5 assists per game against quad 1 teams. Still leads the team. Trey Holloman right there behind him at, I believe, 3.2 assists per game. So he still leads the team, but he is not above that 5 range against quad 1 teams, which Ole Miss is. Finally, my wild card here, and you might say this is a little bit crazy, and that's why I call him the wild card. But make sure you at me if he does end up being a factor in this game. He might not be a factor at all, and if he's not, they can still win. But if he is a factor, I think it helps out Michigan State even more. As Ole Miss does not play anyone who is taller than 6'9", they do have a 7'2" guy, but he has not played in the NCAA tournament yet. Could he possibly get some time in there if this player is doing well? Maybe, but I just don't see him getting extended minutes. The player I'm looking at here is Xavier Booker. Xavier Booker has not scored a point since against Iowa, and what was that? That was March 6th, I believe. He has not scored a point since against Iowa in March 6th. So Xavier Booker is due. He needs to have a game. He has had games this season where he scored well. He scored well against Minnesota, North Carolina, Ohio State. What do those teams have in common? Undersized fives. They have undersized fives in common. Jalen Washington, really the only one that was big enough to be able to contend with Xavier Booker, and he played the seventh most minutes on the team in that game. So you find yourself in a situation here where Xavier Booker, with his length, his height, and everything, he should be able he should be able. What word am I looking for? He should be able to take advantage of. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. He should be able to take advantage of Ole Miss's lack of size. They do switch a lot, right? They will guard 1 through 5 with just about every player on that team. The problem is you find yourself in a situation where you switch somebody off onto Xavier Booker. You could find Xavier Booker against somebody much, much smaller than him. Now, the double's going to come. Xavier Booker needs to be able to pass out of those and take care of the ball. So again, I'm not even sure Xavier Booker will get a ton of time in this game. But even if he doesn't, you're looking at a guy like Carson Cooper, 6'11", to have a good offensive game. Jackson Kohler, like I mentioned earlier, for him to have a good offensive game, maybe 10 points or more, especially if he's getting the offensive rebounds in this game. My point is this Ole Miss team is undersized. This Michigan State team has a 7-footer, multiple 6'11" players, and Jackson Kohler, who has been a rebounding machine, and they should be able to take advantage of those things with their big man. But they need their point guard, Jeremy Fears Jr., and also Trey Holloman when he comes in, to run the offense well. But most of all, they need Jeremy Fears Jr. when he gets to the free throw line to knock down those free throws and be the free throw shooter that he can be.